Okay, to Harambe, the gorilla at the Cincinnati Zoo. 400-pound wild animal. Born in captivity, but gorillas are not domesticated, contrary to what the feminists think. Don't most feminists who are married think they're married to gorillas anyway? They're not. You can't. It's like dragons, folks. You can't tame them. You've seen Game of Thrones. You can't tame a dragon. These are not pets. But we name them. This one's name was Harambe, and I assume we think that he knew his name, and we assume that he probably liked his name. So a 4-year-old child happens to plunge into the alligator pen, or the gorilla pen, the Cincinnati Zoo, before anybody notices it. And in order to save the life, the zoo people made the decision to kill the gorilla. Now, I am totally aware of why so many people think that the zoo made the wrong decision. I totally understand American pop culture today. I understand our society. I understand where it is. I understand that in our culture today, that gorilla, compared to any human being, is the essence of innocence, even a 4-year-old child. In fact, many on the left, don't doubt me on this, you're going to think this is maybe funny or crazy, but I'm dead serious. Many on the left compare that gorilla in the zoo with unfair imprisonment of human beings. That zoo is the equivalent of a prison. And, of course, those kinds of people think that we have too many people in jail in this country, that they are in jail because they've been railroaded, not because they've committed any crimes. And so that's the first thing. It may not be something that they consciously voice, but it is in their subconscious the way they look at this. I'm talking particularly about leftists. The whole zoo thing is unfair. The whole zoo thing is an example of human bigotry, racism, whatever else, mean-spiritedness, extremism. Humans are the cause of global warming. Humans are the cause of climate change. Humans are the cause of animal suffering. Humans are the cause of everything going wrong on Earth. By definition, these people cannot be familiar with Genesis. And if they were, they would disassociate themselves from it. They have absolutely no such training, foundation, or awareness of the primacy of humanity on planet Earth as created by God. Such a mindset does not exist with them. It's the exact opposite. Humanity is the problem. Humanity is not the solution. Humanity causes all this. So a young child falls in. There are stages of video that are produced by people who were there. And the first video, always the one that makes the impression, looky, that gorilla was trying to save that boy. He was trying to pull his pants up even so he wasn't ashamed, nude in that moat. This gorilla was trying to protect that boy. That gorilla, he was a new playmate. Don't forget, America's most prominent exposure to gorillas is with Coco. Coco is a female gorilla who picks NFL games every Friday. Coco uses sign language. Coco has become a human. We humanize all animals, particularly those that we can go watch, maybe even pet, get close to. And we tend to associate, some of us do it. Some people transfer their own traits to animals and think that there's no difference other than maybe intelligence or what have you. But as I looked at it, it took me one thing to see. That gorilla is 400 pounds. And when that gorilla scooped that kid up and ran at breakneck speed through that moat, dragging the kid behind him, the gorilla doesn't know from protecting the little boy's head from banging against the wall. The gorilla doesn't know from drowning. The gorilla doesn't know from anything. But most people don't want to assume that. They want to assign protector status to the gorilla, as you'll hear in an audio soundbite. The thing, nobody was going to get that boy out of that gorilla's hands. Nobody was going to be able to walk in there and say, hey, Harambe, hey, bud, hey, you know, we need to take that little toy you just got to just plunge. We need to take it away from you. Right. It was not going to happen. Harambe was not going to deliver the boy somewhere to a zookeeper to take it back to its mother. What's happened? I know he was holding the boy's hand. He sat him up. I know. I know how the pictures look. He was his friend. He was protecting him. He was a new buddy down there. Understand all that. Harambe wasn't going to hurt him. Harambe was loving and caring and so forth. Probably a better parent than many humans are. Probably treating that boy better than maybe his own family does. You just never know. You just never know, right? That gorilla could have been teaching us all a lesson on how to deal with kids. Folks, look at social media. You'll see all kinds of explanations. Social media has just become such a sewer that even Facebook, Google, and all the others are promising to clean it up every 24 hours. Hate speech gone in 24 hours. You want to bet certain hate speech is going to be applauded. It's going to be strategically placed. That against conservatives. Media lies about conservatives and Republicans will be still featured prominently in trending, you name it. But anyway, I just don't think there's any way that boy was going to get out of there alive, short of what happened. And I think the people that are being forgotten in all this are the zoo people that had to do it. I think in all the agony that's out there today, the people that run that zoo that had to do this are probably feeling the worst of anybody, because that gorilla was part of their lives. The gorilla had a handler. Somebody fed the gorilla. The gorilla is born in captivity, so the gorilla had a lot of contact with people at this zoo, and to have to take the gorilla out to save the boy, they're going to be distressed over this for a long, long time. The people that actually run that zoo and had to make the decision, whoever had to pull the trigger. But it comes down to, what do you value here? Should the boy lose his life because the mother was irresponsible, let him plunge in the first place? The gorilla's life should take primacy because it's the gorilla's home. The gorilla wasn't doing anything to anybody. The gorilla was minding its own business. All of a sudden, this 4-year-old kid falls in there. It's the gorilla's fault. We got to kill the gorilla. Depends on how you value human life versus all other life on the planet. And even, folks, it's so sad, it even had a racial component. Originally, when it was not known what race the child and the parents were, you should have seen some of the comments then. And then it was Black Lives Matter getting involved in all this. And then they found out, no, wait, can't go there, had to back off and go elsewhere. That's the way people on the left look at things is just continually itself insufferable and insulting. But I don't... I mentioned earlier the two, I think they were dolphin or porpoises that somehow strayed way north of their natural. Was it New Jersey? No, there was ice. No. This is, way north. We're talking Canada here. There were mammals. They had to surface to be able to breathe. And we were cutting holes in the ice for them to do so, and we were trying to cut holes in the ice in a way that would steer them to safety. If they followed the holes, we were doing everything. And I remember back then, this is in the 90s sometime, and I remember taking calls from people on, why are we wasting all this money? It's a couple of fish, for crying out loud. They got lost, big deal. And I recall the incident of the same thing had happened to a blue whale or something that happened in Sacramento Delta. The thing had gotten screwed up and had swum up from the San Francisco Bay all the way up to the Sacramento Delta area and was running out of salt water. And they were all worried about what to do with it. They were trying to figure out a way to turn it around and go back to where it should be. And I understand that with these two fish, I remember defending the fish. I remember on this program telling people, look, you have to understand why so many people are concerned about this. They've done nothing wrong. They maybe got lost and went a different way, but these animals, compared to all else going on, they're innocent. They're struggling on their own. They're trying to live. It's not like they're a bunch of welfare recipients taking the day off out. They are doing everything they can to survive. So us helping them makes all the sense in the world to me. But I'm telling you, folks, 20 years ago, when that happened, the vast majority of sentiment was not for those dolphin or porpoises, whatever they were. It was people, why are we spending so much money? The military helicopters, we were spending a lot of money breaking the ice, drilling holes, trying to get them out of there. And people thought it was a waste of money. Hey, it happens. It's nature. You know, they went the wrong place to pay the consequences. No, I said, people have to understand their essence of innocence. They're trying to save themselves, and we're trying to help them do that. This situation, here you have a gorilla minding its own business in its own home, not bothering anybody. It had never bothered anybody. And then some mother looks the other way for a while, and her kid plunges into the gorilla pen. And while the gorilla is holding her baby and dragging the baby along and so forth, the mother, Mommy's here! Mommy's here! And people say, Mommy's where? Why isn't Mommy down there trying to get the kid back? Most mommies would be down there doing what they can instead of shouting, Mommy's here! Mommy's here! Nobody was going to get the kid back. And you've heard they didn't want to use tranquilizer. That would have just made the gorilla mad. It would have taken a long time to go into effect, to take effect, and who knows what the gorilla would have done had he gotten mad. So it's an unfortunate circumstance, but they didn't have any other choice. If you wanted to save that child, that was the only way they were going to do it. And I know a lot of people want to believe that whoever Harambe's friends were on the zoo staff could have walked in there, you know, with a plate of food or what have you, or just with good vibes. Hey, Harambe, how are you? You know that thing you have that's not supposed to be here. Hand him over. Whatever they were going to do to get the gorilla to hand over his toy. Go to the audio sound bites. There's not much here, but I want to illustrate. We have, who is this? Where is this? What did I do with this? Oh, here it is, number 15, Ashley Byrne. This was yesterday on CNN's newsroom in the morning, Carol Costello. This is PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, senior campaigner Ashley Byrne. Question, do you agree that zoo officials had to kill a gorilla because they say they couldn't take a chance a gorilla would react badly if they shot him with a tranquilizer dart?
In many circumstances, gorillas have shown that they can be protective of children or small beings. Frankly, the fact that this gorilla was in the Cincinnati Zoo in the first place, that's the first place that the situation went wrong. Because even under the best circumstances, captivity is never adequate for gorillas and other primates. And in cases like this, we see that it's even deadly. And this tragedy is exactly why PETA urges families to stay away from any facility, zoos, circuses, or otherwise, that displays animals as a sideshow for humans to gawk at.
Animals as a side. This woman obviously has not read Genesis, and even if she did, it wouldn't have any impact on her. But human beings travel all over the world to gawk at animals, precisely because they're unusual, they're interesting, some are cute, some are deadly, There's no way human beings are going to not be interested in animals, gawking at them, out on safari, hunting them or what have you. By the way, you know there's another factor in this, Snurdly? A lot of people think that all of us used to be apes. Don't doubt me on this. A lot of people think that all of us used to be gorillas. And they're looking for the missing link out there. The evolution crowd. They think we were originally apes. I've always had, if we were the original apes, then how come Harambe is still an ape, and how come he didn't become one of us? Well, that's why they were looking for the missing link, Mr. Limbaugh. Your question is absurd. Here's one more from Ashley Byrne from PETA. the gorilla's endangered. He was 17 years old. They've had him for quite a long time.
He was 17 years old, and reports say that he had a young baby of his own, who, of course, is now without a father. So, again, I think this shows us the tragic side of keeping animals in zoos for our entertainment, that it can go horribly wrong, and that the zoo failed Harambe by taking the risk that something like this could happen.
So Harambe's child is now without a father. One of the many unfortunate aspects of this. So another busted gorilla home at the Cincinnati Zoo. And you know what happens to those? If something had happened to that 4-year-old boy in the gorilla pen, you know what the catcalls would be. Why didn't you shoot the gorilla? Why did you wait? So the zoo people, they're not going to win no matter what. But my guess is they feel worse than anybody about this, the people that had to do it.